Audible. Cool. So, welcome to Way to Automation, guys. Welcome to your Selenium Python course. Uh, this is Ashish Desai. Let me start with the introduction of myself. Uh, my name is Ashish, and I am having 5 to 7 years of experience in CMM 5 level organization. Already we have cleared multiple batches, and this one is going to be a new batch to be started by the next week. We are planning for. So yeah, any questions? Anyone? In case if you guys have any questions, you guys can raise me the query at any point of time. By default, all of you are in mute. In case if you want to speak something, you guys please unmute. Ask me to unmute you guys. I'll just unmute you and you guys can speak whatever you want to. Is the process clear to everyone? And guys, the session has to be interactive actually. So whatever I am asking you guys to be interactive enough to reply, right? Since this is an online lecture, I'm not able to see you guys. So I want you guys to interact with me as much as possible using the this questions stuff. So those you're asking, does anyone have prior knowledge of Java for this course? No, it is not at all important that anyone has to be should have Java knowledge prior to this course. We're going to start from Selenium very scratch. Okay. Yeah. So today we have 28 attendees as of now. We have, yeah, welcome Tosh. We have Amit, Ashish, Ashutosh, Vinay, Darshan, Deepak, um, Harbans, Manij, Nayar, Ravindra, Raj, Saurav, Sridhar, Sudhir, Tosh, Vikas, Yogesh. Okay. My voice is breaking. Mm, okay, just let me check it once. Yeah, is my voice clear now? I believe. Is my voice clearly audible to everyone? Because I have to get a clear check from everyone if I am clearly audible or not. Yes. Okay. So I'll try to speak more louder in case if it is a bit slow. So yeah, the course is going to be of 2 to 3 months. The duration of the course will be approximately 2.5 to 3 months that we are going to cover. We are going to cover multiple things in this in Selenium, Python. So guys who do not have any prior knowledge regarding Python, do not worry. We are going to cover everything from very scratch. Okay. So how many of you guys who have attended, who are joined this lecture are having prior knowledge to Python? How many of you are do not have any knowledge in Python? How many of you know about Python already? So Ashutosh, you're saying you know a little bit. Okay. So Tosh, do you have knowledge of any programming language? Guys who do not have knowledge of any programming language can speak also. Then you can just type if you have not worked in any programming language. I do not know Python, C, C, Java. I do not have any prior knowledge in Python. Okay, no problem. We are going to cover everything from very scratch when the lecture is going to start. Not at all an issue. Um, okay. Okay, so I believe let's start with the lecture. Let me introduce you with the language Python. Let me introduce you with the pros and the cons of the language. That why exactly we should use it, right? So without wasting our time, let's start with the lecture today. All okay, guys? All ready? Will we get notes for all the sessions? Deepak, you will be getting all the recordings of all the lectures. Whatever is being taught in the lecture, you will be getting all the recordings and assignments separately. But we do not have handwritten notes or something like that. But all the recordings for sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean video recordings, Deepak. All the video recordings will be completely available to all of you. You will be all the code that will be written in the class will be available to you guys, but some specific notes will not be available. Yeah. Okay. So well, without wasting our time, let's start with the session. And there is only one rule in my class. In case if you guys have any query regarding the topic which is currently going on in the lecture, you guys can ask me the same stuff one time, two times, 100 times. I'll be feeling happy to answer all the questions. Okay. So in case you guys feel any question, just ping me here. I'll be responding as soon as possible. Okay. And keep in mind, you guys are mute by default. I need to unmute you. Okay. So in case if you want to speak something, just ask me. I'll mute you. Hi, Binay. Okay. You have briefed about content of Python. Yeah, I'll be coming to this. The content that we are going to cover. So Binay, and to everyone, the content that we are going to cover in Python will be respective to the Selenium course only. We're not going to cover very advanced stuff. We are only going to cover the required stuff which is required for our Selenium coding. As an automation tester, the coding that is required for you guys that will be completely covered. For example, we are going to cover the basics for short data types. I have also let me show you. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, just a second. Yeah, here. So we have setup installations, we have variable, control flow, oops, concepts, lists, tuples, sets, dictionaries, exception handling, reading, writing in Excel sheets, and yeah, these are some various upper level topics that are going to be covered in Python. Am I audible to other guys? Because Nair is not able to listen to me. Am I clearly audible to other guys? Okay, so Nair, can you please disconnect from this and connect again? Because I believe there's a network connection issue at your end. And if you're asking me, are we going to develop a framework from scratch? Definitely, we are going to develop not a single framework, but three different frameworks we will be dealing with. We will be dealing with robot framework, data-driven framework, and multiple types, other three types of frameworks also. So there will be multiple frameworks that we are going to cover. It's not only a single one. We have robot framework as well. We have BDD. We have data-driven. We have page object model. So yeah, Selenium Python is a very cool topic to discuss, to have experience on. So are you guys, everybody is working in already, or anybody is a student or something? Are you guys already working in a testing industry as an automation tester or as a manual tester or as a performance tester or something? Okay, you are dealing in automation with Java and Selenium as an automation tester. Okay. How much experience do you guys have uh, on general? How much experience do you guys have? 4 years. Sort of you have 12 plus years. Okay. Okay, cool. So you guys have means 10 to 12 years, 5 years of experience. So no problem at all. Selenium Python will give a boost to your career, trust me. So let's discuss the introduction from the very beginning. So I have made a quick slide for all of you guys. Let's have a view here. So yeah, my name is Ashish Tek. I'm an automation tester by profession. I am a BTech graduate. I'm a gold medalist. I'm a university topper in Maharashtra Christian Institute of Technology. You guys must have heard of this, MAIT Rohini. For those who have not, you can search also. I have a total work experience of this is an year or 2 years of old presentation. So I have a work experience of approximately 7 to 8 years in completely automation sector. And yeah, I am very well doing myself in Selenium WebDriver using Java, C Sharp, Python. Performance testing also is one of the part of my career in JMeter and Load Runner, and API testing for sure using Python, Postman, Java. So we currently having batches of API testing using Python, which we have daily at 9 to 11 evenings. That is currently going on. We have already completed 2 to 3 batches of Selenium Python in this itself. And in case if you guys want to connect to me, you guys can just visit waytoautomation.com and you will be getting a WhatsApp group. You will be having my contact number. You guys can connect to me anywhere at any point of time. Okay. So going back. Okay. So first of all, let's start with it on Python itself. So what is Python, guys? Anyone? What is Python? Or I'll say what exactly you know about Python. Anything will be appreciated. Any single liner or a multi-liner. You guys can type anything. There's no one to judge you around here. So be free to tell me anything, whatever you know about it. What is Python for you guys? It is a scripting language. It is an object-oriented programming language. Okay. It is a programming language again. So correct. Python is a type of a programming language which we use in our day-to-day life nowadays, and is very drastically used in AI stuff. Yeah. So, how many of you guys are already working in what do we say Java, so that we can have a quick comparison between Java and Python, so that I can explain it to you more comfortably. Can you please unmute me? Just give me a minute, Raj. I'll be unmuting you. Okay. Mm, just a moment, Raj. Yeah, tell me, Raj.
Thank you. I'm just asking question. Should we put the question in the window, or whenever you ask question, we need to say here?
Actually, this is only the chat window which is actually available. So you guys can just simply type me whatever you want to. Either it is
Okay,
a question or either it is a query or something. You guys are free to type it over here. I'll be answering it from here itself.
perfect. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome, Raj. So let's coming back to the session. Let's start with the Python stuff. So what is Python? Okay. I'm not going to get into the bookish language, bookish stuff. You guys can study that at your own. Today we're going to deal with examples and comparisons. That exactly why do we say what stuff it is exactly. So if you guys are online or using a laptop, just open any compiler. So as of now, I'm opening any Python compiler. Um, just so let me open a Java compiler as well. Do we have anyone who has no prior knowledge of any programming language? Do we have anyone who has no prior knowledge of any programming language, who has not worked on any programming language till date? Okay, so Raj, you have not worked on any programming language? Okay, no problem. No problem. It's not at all an issue, but Python will be the best one for you. So, okay, no problem. Anyone else except Raj who has not worked on any programming language yet? Mm, anyone else who has not worked, or everyone has already done at least something in programming language? If it's any basics, right? Okay, so let's start. So the very first point that we say regarding Python is the first point is called it is a general purpose language. It is a general purpose language. Why do we call it as a general purpose language? As it means in layman language also, if we say something is a general purpose stuff, it means it can be used anywhere, right? It is a general purpose. It can be used anywhere for any stuff. So that is what it is written here. It is used to build just about anything, which will be made easy with the right tools, libraries. So, um, okay, let's take an example. Suppose I in Python, this is a Python compiler, guys. What is a Python compiler? This is a software where we actually execute our stuff, and whatever we write here, it gives us an output. So this is a compiler. So suppose I want to print something, right? I want to print something in here. So I can simply write print hello everyone, right? So in case if I execute it, it simply types me hello everyone. So this is a single liner language, single liner code that we have executed in Python to print something right here. Now, if I want, to those who are not aware of the terms I'll be using now, don't get worried. We will be, your voice is breaking a lot frequently. Um, anyone else also facing the same issue? Is my voice breaking? Um, yeah, okay. So, okay, I'll try to be more louder, and I think the connection is correct here. So just try this, Amit. Just disconnect yourself once and connect yourself again on the same software. Maybe it is corrected at that time. Okay. So guys, I was telling you, print command is case sensitive. Definitely, print command is case sensitive in nature. So that is something different stuff. We will come to this. So I'm talking about a general purpose language. So guys, those who are not aware of the programming languages, don't be worried. So those who are aware of programming languages like C, Java, so you guys must be aware that whatever we do in Java, we do using a class, right? We are not allowed to do anything without a class. In case if we want to do anything, if we want to print a statement, we have to use a class to perform any operation. And in a single file, I cannot means in a single file I cannot do multiple things. Like I cannot make only one single class. I cannot make one function. I cannot make one general language. Okay, just let me give you an example. Suppose this is Java. So this is the programming language Java where I have to print even a single line. I have to print something like this. Okay, this is okay to me. Now, in case if I want to define a function outside the class, I want to define a function outside the class. In that case, if I am writing something like void maybe a b c d, and here I'm trying to write something. Let's say this is in the function. Okay. Now I also want to just simply type this to print this statement. This is outside the function. So what exactly I'm trying to tell you guys is there's a single print statement that can be I want to use in three different ways. The first way is that we have to define it inside a class. The second way is I'm defining a function, and the third way is I'm using it directly. So what do you guys think? Will it give me an error if I try to execute it in Java, or will it execute completely? What will happen? So those who know about Java, what will happen here? Will it be printing everything? Will it be working as perfect as it sounds? Or will it raise me an error? What will be happening? Any query, any inputs, guys? Just you can be correct, you cannot be correct. It's okay. So you're saying in Java it will be an error for the last one. So definitely if I try to execute it, it raises me an error. It says void abcd for this function. Also it says error class interface or enum expected. Right. So Java as a programming language does not allow us to define things in a single file which is outside the class. I cannot make anything outside the class, and that is a function which is not allowed by Java. But when I come to Python, here I'm writing a print statement. This print statement does not contain any foundations. It has to be not inside a class. Now in this case, if I want to define a class also, if I write here class welcome, suppose print inside class. I can also define a function, define function, print inside function. Okay. Now I can call this function. First of all, I can call the class, and then I can call the function also. Now if I execute it, you guys can see it prints you everything. It prints you hello everyone. It prints you inside class. Then it prints you inside function. Right. So what exactly I want to compare here, that Python is a general purpose language. Python allows you to define class, allows you to define functions, allows you to write general statements inside a single file, inside a single file. Whereas when I come to Java, I cannot do all these three stuff inside a single file. So that is what makes it a different and easier and flexible enough to use. Is my point clear to everyone that Python is a general purpose language? If I come back to the presentation, it says if you if you write a Python program with class, then it makes a complete system where if you code without a class, it is called a script. It means this is a script where we can write everything including a class also. Is my point clear enough to everyone? Is my point clear enough? That why do we call Python as a general purpose language? Guys, everyone try to answer me so that we can be sure enough that you guys are on the same page. Okay, that is for your guys only. Can you make a function without a class? Yes, Raj, this is what exactly we did. This function is not encapsulated inside the class. This is a different function without a class. Okay. There is no use of braces in Python. No. What is DEF? So don't get confused, guys. These all things that will be discussed later in the sessions. This is DEF is the keyword which is used to define functions, right? I'll come to that when we will be starting the lectures. As of now, I'm just trying to give you a basic understanding to those who are aware of some other programming languages. And those who are new here, don't get confused. We will be dealing with each and every keyword here. Okay. So there is no restriction of creating class and function. No, there are no restrictions here. And since two of you are asking what is DEF, DEF stands for define. DEF is a keyword which we use to define our own functions. Okay, so we will come to this later. This is not so important. What is C equal to? Uh, Actually, I can tell you these things right now, but I don't want to because that will confuse you guys only. Since you are not aware of multiple other stuff, this was just an example. So don't take it so much seriously. I'll be explaining it to you later in the classes. Okay, we'll come to this later in the year. That is the only way to call a function on a class, and because many of the students here does not know about class and functions. So we'll come to that later. Okay. So moving to my next point. So what exactly I want to explain using the same point was that in Python we can do multiple types of stuff which we cannot do in Java. Okay. Then we say that Python is dynamic in nature. This is a very important point to be covered. We say Python is dynamic in nature. Can anyone tell me what is dynamic? What does the term dynamic means? What does the term dynamic mean in the general English language? If I say what does the term dynamic means? There are two terms, static and dynamic. Can anyone explain the difference between the static and the dynamic stuff? Okay, easily can change identity, changing. Anyone else? I'm just asking you the point of English language. It has changed based on the situation, which changes probably frequently. Correct. So dynamic actually means it changes according to the situation, according to the environment, whatever it is given. So we say Python is a completely dynamic language. Why do we say so? Let's take an example again. Let's take an example again. So I'll be explaining that example to everyone also. So first of all, let me type the example here. So guys, see, in Java or in any other object-oriented programming language, we have something called data types. We have something called data types. So data types means the type of the data that you are going to use in your coding. Suppose I want to define an integer data. I want to define an integer number and I want to print that number. Okay. So I will be writing int a. A is a variable here. A is the name of a variable. I'll be telling what a variable is. Int a equal to 10. So I'm by using this statement, I'm telling the compiler that I'm going to define a variable a which is having a value 10, which is of type integer, which is of type integer. In the similar fashion, if I want to define a character, if I want to write my name, then I will be telling it, okay, boss, this is a string. AB is a string which says, which is having a value of welcome. Now, in case if I want to print these stuff, I will be using something called system out println. This is used to print stuff on your system in Java. So I can simply write here a and I can write here AB. Okay. Now if I execute it, okay, we have not mentioned this. So it says the value of a first of all is which is 10. You can see the output. Let me maximize this. Yeah. So as per our code, it printed hello world, then it printed the value of a, then it printed the value of ab. So if you guys see carefully, in any programming language, we have to first of all define the type of the data that is we are going to use. Suppose a was an integer data, so I have to define that as an integer data, and I can only perform integer operations on this variable. I cannot perform any other operations. If this is a string data, I can only perform string operations on this variable. I cannot perform any other operations. Whereas when we come to Python, Python says, boss, I do not need data types. I am capable enough to determine the type of the data at runtime. Okay, so if I say a equal to 10 or 12, it says no problem, this is acceptable. If I say print a, it is going to print a. If I going to print the type of the data a is holding, type is a function here. Type is a function here, inbuilt function, which tells me the type of the data the variable is holding. So right now, if I execute it, it says the value of a is 12, and the type of the data that a holds is an integer data, whereas we have not defined integer anywhere in Python. We have not defined the type of the data anywhere in Python, but it is capable enough to determine the type of the data on its own. Now, in case if I change it, I'm saying boss a equals welcome, and I am going to print a, and I'm going to print, just a second, I'm going to print the type of the variable a again, and if I execute it, so that this time you guys can see, first of all, it says the type of the data was integer, then I renamed it, then it says the type of the data is string. So nowhere in the code we are defining the type of the data that we are going to use in the programming language. That is why it is called dynamic programming language. Is my point clear to everyone? Why do we call a programming language dynamic? Why is Python dynamic in nature? Is my point clear to everyone? Or is it only clear to Deepak? So only 3 guys of you are able to understand me. Guys, at least had your breakfast before the demo. At least you can type. You guys should have energy enough to type the stuff here. Just type a single Y or N, because that is where we can be sure enough, right? Cool, cool. So coming back to the presentation. So see, I have quoted the same example here. What is the start option in this? So we chart here using this only, Tosh. Okay. So coming back to the same example here, I'm defining int a equal to 2. I'm defining a string. So and where is this is the Java code, this is the Python code. So we have a difference here. That is why we call it a dynamic programming language. Okay. So the third point that comes into the picture about Python is that it is an interpreted language. That it is an interpreted language. What does the term interpreted means, guys? Anyone? What do you mean by the term interpreted, compiled or interpreted language? Anyone who knows about it? What is an interpreted language? And or any example you guys can give me? Yeah, interpreted is a line-by-line execution programming language. Any example, Vinay, that you can quote me? VB worked, yeah, correct. So, guys, Java is a compiled language, or it's an interpreter language? Anyone? Java is a compiled language or a interpreting language? So, Tosh, you are saying both. Okay. So, can you tell me how is it an interpreting language, Java? Vinay and Tosh, how can this be an interpreting language? Compiled, okay. If you guys want, I can unmute you also. Okay, till that we are getting an answer. Let's come back. So, what is the compiled language, if I ask you guys? Mechanism built inside JVM. Okay, coming back. What is the compiled language, guys? A compiled language, you guys can say, okay, we have another question. Converted to bytecode and then execute in system. Actually, I'll not say it is an interpreting language at all. For me, Java is completely compiled language. I'll explain you the reason why. Coming back to the same examples here. So when I'm trying to execute it, so first of all, get a basic idea what is a compiled language and what is an interpreting language. A compiled language is a type of a language where the complete code, whatever you're writing, the complete code executes at a single time. It means in case if you guys have any error in your code, first of all, you have to remove that error from your code. Only then the execution will start. Now, for example, after this line, after writing string AB welcome, or maybe after trying to print A, if I raise an error, suppose if I'm raising an error like string AD equal to 10. Now this is going to be an error because AD is a type of a string data type and I'm giving an integer data. So this is going to give me an error. If I execute it, it says incompatible types, integer cannot be converted to string. Now the point is, my main point is here, since this was complete code, we have an error in the code. So first of all, we have to remove this error. Only after removing this error, the complete code will be executed. This type of language is called a compiled type language. Are you getting it? This type of a language is called compiled type language, where the complete errors have to be removed as a type of compiling only. Whereas if I come to Python, now, if I raise an error here, suppose if I say um, a equal to 100 divided by 0, 100 divided by 0. Okay, now if I try to execute it, now you guys can see it. This programming language also raised me an error. This programming language also raised me an error, but before raising me an error, it executed my previous statements. So my previous statements was print A and print the type of A. So it printed me A, it printed me the type of the variable, and when it was the programming language encountered an error, it says, boss, we got an error at line number 13. Before line number 13, everything is working fine for us. We have executed your code, but at line number 13, you are facing a problem. So remove this code so that remove the error so that we can move forward. So that is why we say Python is an interpreting language. It means it is executing line by line. It is executing line by line. The errors which will be encountered will be resolved at that point of time only, but the code before it will be executed successfully. Whereas when we were jumping to Java, Java was a compile type language because it says, boss, you have to first of all remove all the errors, only then it will be executed. Otherwise, it will not execute. So is my point clear? Why do we say Python is an interpreting language? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, great. Cool. So we have multiple other topics also to discuss in Python, but I'm not going to discuss all these topics today because as of now today we have to discuss about some demo session. We have to discuss something more also. But I think you guys are getting a basic understanding of what Python is all about, right? So we can move further. We can move ahead. So the next thing is how to download Python. How to download Python. For that, you guys can just simply go to the official website of Python, which says download Python. If you simply type here, python.organization downloads. Here, this is the latest version available, Python 3.8.2. Python 3.8.2. The version is available for all. Python is a cross-platform language, which means it is available for Java, Windows. It is available for Linux. It is available for Mac as well. All the three different operating systems. So the latest version which is available with us is Python 3.8.2. Just simply click on this button. The moment you click, it will start downloading. It is approximately 35 MB. should be downloaded in seconds. Okay, so right now I'm not downloading it because I already have it. So once you download it, I'll be showing you the next steps. Mm, if I come here, so first of all, we have written download Python. The moment you download the Python, just click on that button. Once it is downloaded, then you have to click it up and open. The moment you open it, it says install Python. So just simply click on the install now button. And this is a very important step to keep in mind, guys. You have to check the checkbox which says add Python 3.7 to path. Add Python 3.7 to path. That will make your work hassle free because that will automatically add the system environment variable. We have something called environment variable where we have to add the path. So it will do that process automatically. Okay. If we go ahead, it is installed, which takes 3 to 4 minutes to get installed. Once the installation is completed, click the close button. How can you verify whether Python is installed or not? How can you verify? Just go to command prompt, type Python, and the Python IDE should open. So let's verify this. If I go to command prompt, now here if I write Python, you guys can see Python console is open. If I write any Python code here, it should work correct for me. If I write hello, so it prints me down hello. Okay, so is it clear how can we install Python to everyone? Is it clear? You have to just download it from its official website, and once downloaded, just install it in your systems, and we are good to go. Okay, in case if you guys feel the lecture is boring, we can crack a joke in the middle of it. So are we having a good interaction? In case if you guys feel, are you guys feeling bored or something, or we are going good? Right? In case you guys feel something that you're getting bored or something, you guys can ping me. You can crack a joke in the middle of the class. Not a problem at all. Trust me. Okay. So coming back, this is how we can simply um, download Python. So so let's understand the structure of Python. Okay. Let me try to make you clear. So whenever we are dealing with Python, whenever we write any code here, we are required multiple types of libraries, right? Suppose, um, okay, let's take a real-time scenario. Let's take a real-time scenario. Suppose we are a team of 10 members. Okay. Now in these 10 members, I am working on a project in which there is a tool, there is a library called Selenium. There is a library called Selenium, which we are using. So I am using Selenium version 3. Just I'm giving you an example. I am using Selenium version 3, and I'm using many other libraries in my project also. Suppose I'm using library 1, library 2, library 3, and so on. There are 10 different libraries that I'm going to use. What is a library to anyone who does not know? A library here we say is a type of a code which is available online, which we are using. Suppose Selenium is an online tool which we use on our projects, right? Similarly, whenever we import something from outside, these are your libraries. Okay. So suppose I as a member is already working on 10 different online libraries. In that case, if I want to share my code to someone else, in that case, if I want to share my code to the next team member, and if I simply copy and paste the code and transfer it to the member, the code does not execute in that system. Why the code does not execute? Because that system is not having these pre-installed libraries that is required to work on. Since my code is using these libraries, So the system should have these libraries already installed. The way we install a software in our system, in a similar fashion, we install a library in a project. So unless or until these libraries are not installed in the project, I'm not able to perform my execute my code, right? So now the problem is how to transfer these libraries from one system to another system, because the person who is working, he has downloaded this library in his own system but has not transferred, right? But has not transferred. So how to do this? How to resolve this problem? Can anyone suggest me a solution? Can anyone suggest me a solution? How can we transfer these libraries from one system to another system as we are a team? Anyone who wants to suggest me a solution? Give me any solution that will be appreciated. Trust me. Anyone? Yeah, Maven dependencies. That is exactly what I'm talking about. To those who are aware of the Java stuff, but yeah. So Raj, you was telling me keep it in the common location so that all can be shared. Yeah, that can also be a part of that. But suppose that libraries there are multiple libraries. So we have a better solution for this. I'll be explaining it to you. Check in the code to general repository using Git. Yeah, that is also one of the option available. So what else can we do here? What else can we do here? We can use something called pip. We can use there's something called pip. Okay. So what is pip? What is pip? Pip stands for Python package installer. Python package installer. Okay. So this pip command is actually responsible for installing all these libraries. Is actually responsible for installing all these libraries in your project. Okay. So how do we do this? Suppose I want to install Selenium, so I will be writing pip install Selenium. I want to install library 1, I will be writing pip install library 1. I want to install a library 2, I will be writing pip install library 2. Okay. What's the difference between yum and pip? We'll come to this later, because right now yum is not used so much, I believe. Yum is a different domain, different thing that we use on different stuff. But when we're dealing to install basic packages, so we normally use pip, and comparatively to operating systems also it differs. So it performs at the end of the day same operations, but it's used differently when we are using on a different domain. Okay, so let's not get confused among yum and pip. To those who are not aware, I'll be telling that you separately, Deepak, in case if you want to know. Okay, yeah. So that is what I'm trying to explain you guys. Pip is a package installer. Whatever we are going to install in Python, whatever we are going to use in a project, will be installed using the pip command only. Will be installed using the pip command only. Now, my question again comes to the same stuff, that how does that make the solution of our problem? That the problem was that how the dependencies will be transferred from one machine to another machine, right? So to resolve that problem, okay, we have a question. Can't we directly install Selenium like in Java? Um, so in Java also you have to download Selenium and then you have to import it in the project, right, Naya? So in this system also you are going to directly install Selenium using this command only. That will be performing the same operation. Okay, so that will be downloading that stuff in your own systems and you will be using that. So these two things are similar in nature, that we are writing can't be directly install Selenium and using installing Selenium using the pip command. So these two things are same in nature. Yes. we have to use the pip command to install Selenium directly from the console. We do not need to know. So what that makes it simple that in case of Java, we have to visit the Selenium website, we have to download it, then we have to use it. Or in case if you're using a Maven dependency, you have to go and find the Maven dependency for your Selenium stuff. But in case of Python, you do not need to visit any website or stuff. You have to just simply type this command. Pip install Selenium, it will automatically download the latest version available. Can you please show? Yeah, I'll be showing you one in the next few minutes. Okay. Okay, coming back. Now my question was, now the solution, the question was again back to the same thing, that how I'm to transfer these libraries from one system to another system so that my project completely works fine if the second system does not have my dependencies or my libraries. For that, it gives us a solution again. Will we use any IDE for developing a framework? Yes, I'm coming to that. We will be using PyCharm deeper. I'm coming to that in the next 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So for that, we can do. We can create a file, text file. So we can see. We can write pip freeze. So whenever we write pip freeze, it will automatically find out everything, whatever libraries are installed in your system. It will freeze them. It will give you a text file which gives you all these libraries. The next moment you want to install these stuff, so you can simply write pip install and give the file name. Give the file name. So this command automatically downloads all the libraries in the second system without any problem. Okay, let me show you this one by one. How can we do this? Now, so the IDE. Before that, let's come to the IDE. What is an IDE, guys? What is an IDE? What is an IDE to anyone who knows about it? Example Eclipse, integrated development environment. Correct. So the IDE, yeah. So the IDE is something where we actually find an interface, to code our data more easily. Okay. So the IDE that we are going to use here is going to be called PyCharm. It's called PyCharm. So you guys can just simply download PyCharm from online. You just simply download PyCharm. The free version is the community version. So this is a paid also and this is free also. So we are going to use the free version, which is the community version that we are going to use. So once you install PyCharm in your systems, then we will be good to go. Okay. So I already have PyCharm in my system. So let me try to make a new project. Let me write demo 19 April 1. So this is what my actually IDE looks like. This is the IDE that is called PyCharm. I will be telling you the steps how to install PyCharm also. So as of now, you guys can just simply download it online. This is I'm creating a virtual environment. I'll be coming to this also. What is the virtual environment? It is a very important feature that Python provides us. Okay, so just let's wait for a minute. And I think it is going to be done. Yeah. So this is the project that we have. This is called demo 19 April. Now there is something called terminal. There is something called terminal, right? So whenever you click on terminal, this terminal is the same thing that you have in your command prompt. The way we have CMD, in PyCharm also we have the same CMD, but this is named as terminal here. but this is named as terminal here. Okay, so now since this is a completely new project, if I write here freeze, pip freeze will be giving me let's see if we have any dependencies it is searching for. So as of now, we do not have any dependencies installed here. So that is why it has not resulted me in anything. Now I want to install Selenium. I will be writing pip install Selenium. Pip install Selenium. Now you can see it is automatically saying collecting Selenium, installing collecting package. So we have to just simply write one command and it says successfully installed Selenium 3.141, which is the latest version available. Now, if I again execute my command, which is called pip freeze, this time it will be giving me, okay, boss, you are using two different libraries, which is called Selenium, which is having a version of 3.141.0, and URL library 3, which is having a version of 1.25.9. So these two dependencies are being used in the project right now. So whatever we are going to install in our project will be completely installed using the pip command. Is it clear to everyone what is a pip command? What is pip freeze used for? Once again, sorry. So pip freeze is a command which we use to get the details of the libraries, the packages that we have installed in our system, the version that we have installed in the system. For that, we use pip freeze. So is the pip stuff clear to everyone? What do you mean by the term pip? What if we need to install a specific version? In that case, you can just simply write pip install Selenium and then you can give the version. It will install that specific version for you, Raj. Yeah. Yogesh, you're asking me, can we use VS Code? What do you mean by the VS Code? Can you elaborate, Yogesh? Visual Studio, that is what you're saying? Um, Yogesh, are you there? Okay, Visual Studio. So, means Visual Studio is again an IDE, but I believe we code using C# there majorly. I've not used Visual Studio for Python coding and stuff. So yeah, I have not tried this anytime, but you guys can try this and update me also. Otherwise, I'll do that in my machine. And I'll tell you in the next lecture, can we do this or not? Okay. So Manish, if you're asking is PyCharm an IDE? Yes, PyCharm is an IDE. Okay. So now, okay, is the pip command clear to everyone? What is the pip stuff? What is it does? Clear to everyone? Can we use the scripts in Eclipse IDE? Which scripts are you talking about, Manish? And in Eclipse IDE means we're using the PyCharm, right? You're asking me in case if we're using Eclipse, can we do the same stuff in Eclipse or not? Yes, we can do the same stuff in Eclipse also. That is not at all a problem. But in Eclipse, we have different settings. In Eclipse, we have something called PyDev. Okay, you cannot just simply write your code and execute it. To use all these pip command and all these stuff, you need to install PyDev in your Eclipse. You can see an online video or something that how can you install PyDev, and that is a complex stuff. But PyCharm gives you flexibility, and this tool is majorly used in industry also. So I believe whenever you're dealing with Python, you should use PyCharm only. PyDev is the secondary option, I believe. Yeah. So now my next question to everyone. Now the next question is, again, we are a team of 5 to 10 members. Okay. So now what exactly I want to perform is that I am using Selenium version 3.141. I have a project in which Selenium 3.141 is required. I am also having one more project in which I have to code my data or code on using Selenium version 2. Are you getting it? We have a different project where we have to code using Selenium version 2, and we have two different projects. One project Selenium version 3.14 is required, and in the second project Selenium version 2 is required. But in case if I install one Selenium 3.14 globally, in that case it will not work for my second project. And in case if I install Selenium 2 for globally, it will not work for the uh, Selenium 3.14 project. So how can we actually resolve this problem? So are you guys getting my question? How can we resolve? Any suggestions? Yogesh, you're asking, can you please show the pip install command again, please? Yeah, so we have written it here somewhere. It simply says Yogesh pip install the name of the library. So I'm trying to install Selenium, so I'm writing pip install Selenium. Okay. So is my question clear and to everyone? So if you guys can suggest me a solution that in case if I have to work on two different versions of Selenium in two different projects, how can I do that? Because if I'm installing Selenium 3.14, it will not work for the other one, and if I install the next one, it will not work for the next one. Does it not require any version to be added while firing the install command? So by default, the latest version is installed, Yogesh. In case if you want to install a specific version, you can type pip install the name of the package and the version name. Can we decide the Selenium version during the runtime? No, you do not have an option for that, I believe. Anyone else who can give me some suggestions? How can I resolve this issue? In case if I want to use two different versions of the same package in two different projects. Okay, no problem. So in that case, we can use. Is it possible to do it using Cucumber? I'm not sure. So Cucumber is a different stuff, deeper. Cucumber is an upper layer again, which is for use for BDD framework. But at the end of the day, you have to use Selenium behind the scenes. So again, the question is same. This is not resolved using Cucumber. So okay, let's not waste our time and let me show you a solution. If you guys can see, there is something you guys have noticed, and you should have asked me the question: what does this VENV stands for? Why is it writing VENV everywhere? Whenever I'm trying to execute something, whenever the moment I installed something, it said VENV. We have a specific folder called VENV. What does this VENV stands for? Anyone? What is this VENV stands for? Virtual environment? Yes, correct. So this is called a virtual environment. So what is a virtual environment, guys? This is the solution to the problem that I asked you. A virtual environment says it is existing. It says I am a type of an environment which is existing in every project, and whatever you install inside me, whatever you install inside this virtual environment will be only specific for this project. Will be only specific for this project. This Selenium is not installed globally, but this Selenium is only installed for this virtual environment, which will be used for this project only. Are you getting it? So in case if I am trying to create another project, it will be having its own virtual environment where I can install a different version of Selenium. So that resolves my problem. So in case I have two different projects, two different Selenium versions, I will be using two different virtual environments. It means I will be installing these libraries inside these two virtual environments separately. Okay. Can you explain how BDD and Python works together? So, Tol, that is a question to be asked very later in the session. the moment that where we'll be dealing with the Cucumber VDD framework. So we have a separate library for that, which connects Selenium, Python, and VDD together, which is called Selenium VDD framework library. So when we will be dealing with the VDD stuff, I will be definitely explaining you that at that point of time. But as of now, in the demo session, I don't think that is a required stuff. So yeah, okay. Yep, we will be doing VDD with framework with Python VDD framework completely. That is a topic. That is a type of a framework that will be covered. We will be covering the robot framework also. So coming back to the same thing, is the concept of virtual environment clear to everyone? Why do we use a virtual environment? What exactly it is? What was the problem that we were facing for which virtual environment came as a solution? Is it clear to everyone? Guys, be interactive to make the session interactive. Otherwise, you guys will be bored. Trust me. Keep interaction, okay? So is it only clear to Manish and Mayor? Rest is not clear, right? So Kushal, you are saying it is not clear to you, right? Aditya, my name is Ashish. Rahul is the Java trainer. Okay. So Deepak, you're saying yes. If you could just run through once again quickly, it would be great. Okay. So let me tell you one more time what VENV stands for. So actually, let me create it for you. Okay. Let me create it. That will make it more clear. Mm, let us try to create a directory here. So let's go visit this copy path. PyCharm projects. So let me create one new project. New folder. VENV demo. Okay. Now if I go inside here, now you guys can see this is an empty folder. So it is not important that to use virtual environment IDE is required. You can also do the same using the command prompt also. I'm explaining it using that. So if you just simply go to the same, so CD, I'm now in the same location where my VENV demo project is started. Now here, I need to create a virtual environment. Now this is the project I have created. I created the folder, and now here the first thing that I have to do is I have to sorry. The first thing that I have to do is I have to make a virtual environment. How to do this? How to do this using command prompt? We have a command called virtual VENV, virtual VENV, and then we give the name of the folder, which is VENV again. So the command is virtual VENV, and we have the name of the folder VENV. Now if I hit enter, it says virtual VENV is not recognized as an internal command. So what we will do, we will be first of all pip install virtual VENV. So it says it cannot find, so it's not virtual VENV, it's virtual ENV, I believe. See, so first of all, I installed this command, which is called virtual ENV. So now if I try to write this, if I say, is it the screen here clearly displayed? Now if I write virtual ENV and write the name of the folder, it is going to create it for me. Sorry. Now if I hit enter, So the command was simple, virtual environment, and the name of the environment that you want to give, it is called env here. Now, if you guys come back here, you guys can see the folder was empty initially. Now it has created a folder called env. It has installed all the required data, whatever I want to install here. And now the next and important point comes that once you create a virtual environment, you have to activate it so that the next time you install anything will be installed in this environment only. How to activate it? We have to simply write. So we have to, okay, to activate it, you can say, if let me show you first of all, it's inside venv. You guys can go to scripts, and there is something called activate. There's a script called activate. Mm, yeah, virtual env. This is the activation file that which we click. The moment we click it, it activates my virtual environment. Since we already have an activated virtual environment, so I'm not doing it in the next project. So that is how you can do this. Once you do this, you will be getting something like this. So the next time you will be using the pip command, it will be completely installed in that project only. Is this clear this time, or was it sounding confusing? Should I tell you one more time? It is clear. What is a virtual environment to everyone? How can we create it at our own? Harbans, you want me to tell it one more time? Okay. So virtual environment, Harbans, is a type of an environment which is actually used to install our data, to install different packages inside a inside that project specifically. Now, suppose the problem was in case if I want to install two different versions of Selenium into different projects. To do that, we install two different environments in both the projects, and in every environment, different versions are installed. Okay, we can do that using the command prompt also, the way I showed you, and we can do that using the IDE also, which creates it automatically. Okay, so Kushal, you're saying VENV not coming by default when we install this IDE. Um, Actually, whenever you create a new project, it comes by default. Okay, you can do the same using IDE also. I was just telling you the way if someone asks you if IDE is not available, can you do this? Yes, we can do this using this command. Okay. Now coming back, now let's have some light on Selenium stuff. What is Selenium? How can we do that? So yeah, we are going to create a new file, new Python file. I'm writing demo file one. So my new file is created with an extension .py. .py is for Python file. Okay. So how can we start with our coding? How can we use Selenium? How can we start stuff? It is very easy, trust me. So today we are going to cover some basics of Selenium only, and the next demo will be scheduled on next Sunday, where we will be ending with our demo sessions. Okay. So Kushal, you're asking me, I'm sorry as I missed few minutes of the early sessions. Did you explain the course content, and can you tell me the framework that we will be using during the course? Yeah, so we will be dealing with four types of different frameworks. We will be using robot framework. We will be designing it our own. We will be designing the BDD framework. Then we have our own data-driven stuff. We have our own page object model. So these are the four types of framework that we are going to deal in Python Selenium course this time. And the most important stuff, guys, the best stuff that Python offers you in testing is PyTest. Means that is the best available testing framework across any programming languages, I'll say. Nowadays we use no, Django is not the testing framework. That is also a type of a testing framework, but the best one is PyTest. So we have two types of testing frameworks. One is unit testing and another is PyTest. So when you compare it using TestNG, the way you use TestNG in case of Java, here we have PyTest. PyTest is a very powerful tool which has multiple flexibilities. You can create your own scenarios without any problem using a single line, using a single command. No need to create any XML files or anything. So PyTest is the best feature if you guys just after the lecture go through it once online that what all about it is. You yourself will be feeling very attracted towards it. That is a very important tool on which the complete testing is based on. Okay, what framework is required in the market nowadays? So see, Kushal, you cannot say we do not have a legit answer for this because it actually completely depends on the client's requirement, the project requirements, the manager's requirements. So if in case you want something, a client needs a project, a client needs a framework where he can or she can create her own feature files. In that case, you have to go for a BDD framework. In case you guys want to know, there's a requirement that okay, you are unaware of the business person needs to work on something. In that case, you will be using the robot framework. So in case if a technical person is working on, you will be using a data driven framework where all the data has to be transferred using Excel sheets, something. So, okay, so actually it completely depends on the requirement itself, Kushal. So we cannot say that what framework is required in market nowadays. You guys have to sometimes you have to create your own frameworks depending upon the requirement. So yeah, I think you got my answer. So Harbans, you're asking, please spell PyTest. PyTest stands for PYTEST. PYTEST. Why are not we covering Django in this course? Django is being covered in the API course that is already going on. So Django stuff is majorly at the backend stuff that we have to focus on. So that is the reason we are not covering Django over here. Django is completely discussed when we are dealing the API stuff. Okay, because Django's testing framework is very important when you have a Django database, when you have Django APIs. So we have a different API testing framework that the lectures are already going on. So in that we have some all the topics of Django. We are creating our own APIs in that. We are focusing on testing them. So that is a completely separate course. Django is not installed, is not included here because that is the backend stuff. And since Selenium is completely front end, so only Selenium and the connecting frameworks are included in this project. Yeah. Is it possible to have change in the course timing? I believe the course timing will be 10 to 12 only. Rest, you guys can discuss it with Rahul. He will be more better answer better person to answer the question. But for me, I believe it will be 10 to 12 only. Ashish, to update Selenium, which command to be used? You can just simply remove the existing Selenium version and install it again, Yogesh. Again. Tosh, you're saying you request 1 to 2 hours earlier for the timing. So you means you want the lecture to start from 8 to 10, something like that. So those are from where do you connect? And Raj also from where do you connect? Okay, so since both of you are from US, that is why. Because getting ready at 7 in the morning in India is a very tough job, you know. Are you kidding me? So Raj, you're asking me, so Kushal, yeah. Kushal, you're asking me, how difficult is to switch from Java to Python? It is not at all difficult. I'll say it is more way too easier to switch from Java to Python when compared from Python to Java. So converting yourself from Java to Python is very easy. I myself got converted from Java. I previously used to work in Java for approximately 4 or 5 years. Then I switched to Python completely, and Python, trust me, has multiple flexibilities when compared to Java. Kushal, you're asking me. Okay, Deepak, you have a question from me before. So you're saying, is this an intermediate level course or an ideal for a beginner? This is an intermediate level course when we will be starting with the PyDev stuff. In that, we are going to discuss some advanced stuff also. So I'll not say it's an ideal for beginner, but this is an intermediate one, in which it will be covering everything from for the beginners as well. For the beginners also, we will be starting it from scratch, but we will be taking it to an intermediate level for sure. So you're asking me, Kushal, what challenges one faced during the switch? I'll say challenges that we face normally is actually the way we write. Since as a user, we already have a habit to we have a concept in the mind that to define a class, we have this structure, we have called the object and all this stuff. So the only thing that we have to deal is with the logic and the syntax of Python. Since they are a bit different, we do not use any kind of curly braces here. Curly braces are used for only dictionaries. We do not have dictionaries in Java. So the only thing that I actually faced was the syntax and with the concept that was in my mind that was required. So once you're familiar with the concepts, I don't think anything else will stop you to convert from Java to Python. Okay. So we have one more question from Ramesh. What about the course fees? So you will be getting a detailed mail from Rahul, I believe, regarding the course fees. So don't be worried about it. Raj, you're asking, would you recommend us to go for Python than Java in terms of future? See, believe actually it completely depends upon you itself, Raj. It completely depends upon your interest, area of interest in something. So for me, I actually made a switch because I want to step into data analytics. Are you kidding? I want to test data analytics stuff. I want to test big data. I want to test AI. So to do all these things, I need to switch to Python itself because using Java that was a very difficult task and that was actually not possible for me. So that my area of interest was to move towards the AI because that is the growing technology nowadays and in abroad and in here and everywhere I believe. So in case if you, switch to Java and switch to Python, you can actually you have to make your own decision actually depending upon your own future where exactly you see yourself in the next few years in case if you want to go towards AI in case you want to use the project requirements if you're working in an industry you have to ask your connect your manager that can we switch to Python because that makes it more easier so you have to make a complete flow chart stuff sort of thing and then only you're going to make yourself clear that where exactly you want to head towards you want to head towards Java because that is what more abruptly used in your organization, or you guys can convince the organization to switch to Python because that is more easy and has more flexibilities in future. That is and challenges that we're going to face in future. So it completely depends upon you and your organization. That where would you like to go towards? But I would suggest Python because Python is a very, trust me when you will be guys more flexible towards this. Python is a very strong frame. Okay. Okay. Am I sounding clear to all of you? What is the scope for big data testing? So big data testing is a different thing. It is not available everywhere, to be very honest. Only very few big organizations like Adobe, Google, Microsoft, and some big names in the industry are actually facing this big data testing, Hadoop testing. But few normal organizations, I don't think this be very frequent. So this is a challenging job, to be very honest, and has less job opportunities. But once you step in big data testing, you will not step into anything else. That is so much interesting. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Anything else so that we can come back? Okay, I have a question. If okay, in considering, I believe you're writing considering. I don't have any Java in depth experience. Will this course be enough for work? I'm not sure. Work will require both Python and Java. So see, this course will definitely be as so. My fundamental rule to teach any of my students is that when the moment So I take students from very scratch to a level where he can face an interview and can challenge the 2 or 3 years of person who is already working in Python, and I can guarantee that person will not be confident enough, but the person who takes the lessons is more confident to answer the question in front of the interviewer. So Python is enough for this course. I believe you are good to, if you take this, it will be enough for you to actually go through it. Okay, using for the complete course and for a complete work. So work environment using both Java and Python these days. Yep, Python and Java both are used nowadays. It is not that only Python is used or only Java is used. Both of these things are used. What is the scope of Python plus Selenium in current market? So Nair, as I already mentioned, Python plus Selenium is very much used nowadays. Like in my, I also myself as an interviewer interviews approximately 10 to 15 students a day in Python Selenium, because Python Selenium has a very large vacancy. And when you're dealing with Selenium, Selenium is a open source language that can be used with any other programming language, where you can change this technology. In case if you face something using Java, then you can simply change syntax and use it with Java also. So Python Selenium is, I think, is very much new to the market. Is The market is actually converting themselves to use Python Selenium nowadays, because Java is, because since we are moving towards AI, the future is AI. If you all know, at the end of the day, the future is AI. There will be robots who will be teaching. I know I will be replaced by a robot very soon. So the future is completely AI. So I believe Python with Selenium is a good thing. Okay? So Raj, you're asking courses only on Sunday? Nope. The course is on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 12. Is it clear to everyone, all the answers to the questions raised? Mm-hmm. Anyone? Are are the answers to the questions clear to everyone? Yeah. So can we come back and discuss Selenium? So you guys were sorry. You guys were asking me, can lifetime members attend live sessions or via recordings? I believe lifetime member Rahul will be the correct person to answer this query of yours, Yukesh. But for me, as I believe, all the recordings are available for every lifetime student, and yeah, I'm also available for them, because in case if you guys face any query in future, I will be available for you that time. Okay? But you can ask perfect answer from Rahul, I believe. Deepak, you're saying, will you be able to cover all the materials that is in the course structure in 10 weeks if the class is for 2 hours on 2 days in a week? So Deepak, the class is always extended. Trust me. My previous Selenium UI batch ended 4 months. It ended 4 months. So it is not fixed that we have only 10 weeks. It is actually depend. It actually depends upon your power of grabbing stuff. I'm not kind of teacher who will be dealing. It means if I want to end the course in 10 weeks, I'll be rushing out things. No, I'm kind of a person, it may take time. It is okay if you guys take time to learn things, to ask questions, but you guys should learn. If you have paid for it, you guys, at the end of the day, you guys should learn this. So it is not important if the class will be only for 10 weeks. It can be extended to 15, it can be extended to 18 classes as well. So it actually completely depends upon you guys only. Yeah, it will be only for 2 days in a week. It will be depending upon the power of your grabbing. Okay. And we have more questions. So Yogesh, you're saying, okay, thanks. I'm sorry for raising numerous questions. Actually, I love to answer these questions. So never say sorry for asking something that you want to. Will be there any assignments every week? Yes, I will be giving assignments to all of you. Not every week, but for some important topics. that we will be discussing. We can build whole BDD framework with Python and will studying this code without using Java at all. Yes, course, we will be doing the complete BDD framework with Python in this course without using Java. That is the beauty of Python. So when we will be dealing with the BDD stuff, no Java will be used at all. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have any programming knowledge, but have good manual testing experience. Will be it considering tools such a way that the non-programmers will concept? Yes, that is why exactly I mentioned, Raj, that the course is structured in a way that we will be dealing with from very scratch. We will be starting from the very atom stuff. Means to those who are not at all new to programming language, we will starting from them also. So once you are good enough in them, then we'll be raising the parameters. So in case if you have no experience in programming language, trust me, by the end of the session, you will be having good experience in a programming language. In case if you just follow my instructions and process your assignments on time. Okay. So the batch that I am already having, which is of the API stuff, in that class we have 10 students who have no programming knowledge experience. But till now, till date, I'm going to end Python in that class. They are very much confident that answers my question very rapidly. So not at all a problem, trust me, Raj. Will we get any recording if you missed any classes? Definitely, Deepak. All the video lectures are recorded. You will be getting all the recordings. Maybe the next day the class is done on the portal. So once you register for the course, you will be getting all the recordings for sure. Okay. Any more questions to anyone? Any more questions to anyone? The next demo session will be scheduled on next Sunday at 10 a.m. again. Python with Selenium can we automate APIs? No. Selenium is only used for front end. Selenium is not used for backend process. For backend processes, we have a different library called a request library that we use to automate APIs. But with Selenium, we cannot. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Should we start back with the session? Should I show you something regarding Selenium? Yeah. Um, I'm planning to automate an application which is fully Linux based. So, Shravan, I believe the name is Shravan, I believe. Yeah. So, can you tell me the application that you're saying is a web-based application, right? The application that you're saying is completely based on Linux is a web-based application. It is not a web-based application then. Is it a server-based application sort of? So for server applications, Shravan, Selenium is not supported. To be very honest, Selenium is not the right choice because Selenium is the right choice only for the front-end development for the applications which are on only web-based. Okay, so Selenium to automate your server-based applications will not be a good choice for you, right? Because it is majorly used for a web-based application only. Okay, so Binay, you're asking me instead of TestNG, will what we will use? We will be using PyTest, Binay, as I already mentioned. We will be using PyTest, which is the very that is the actually main purpose to discover this course. PyTest is a very strong framework, trust me. Okay. Any more questions? Could I or we shall continue back? We have 20 minutes left, so I want you guys to at least see how do you open a browser or something. So Yogesh, you are saying, Ashish, while moving ahead with the course, could you please cover Git use also? Okay, I'll add this. Git is important. I'll add it, no problem. As of now, I'm not adding that in the code, but I'll add the Git repository stuff so that all the code will be committed in Git. Okay. Might be possible we will be using Jenkins also. I've not thought about it as of now, but if possible, I'll be taking Jenkins stuff also. Okay. So, okay, coming back to the topic, I believe. So, since now we have installed the library, which is Selenium itself. Okay, I have more questions. POM also used in Python Selenium? Yep, it is used in Python Selenium, sort of. Okay, we will be dealing with it in the lectures. Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so coming back. So since we have installed Selenium, how can we import it? First command we write is from Selenium import. So Selenium is a library that we installed using the pip command. I'm saying from Selenium import, we have something called WebDriver. We have something called WebDriver. So do anyone who is not aware about what WebDriver is? So see, we normally have a web page. We just a second here, just give me. Yeah, sorry. So I was saying, since this is a type of web page, okay. On this web page, we have multiple elements. We have about, downloads. If I go inspect, now if you guys can see, if you go here at the, let me change the rock. See, now here these are the elements, which in case whenever you click here, they are focused. Right, in case if I want to see the success story, this will be the web element for this. So a web page contains of multiple elements. These elements are called web elements. Now the driver which is responsible to deal with all these elements, the driver which is responsible to click up here, which is responsible to find this element on the web page, is called the web driver. So this web driver is by default part of the Selenium library that we install. So that is why we have written from Selenium import web driver. Okay. Now, the next thing is the first. What do you think will be the first step for a front end automation? The first step I believe will be the step to open a browser. Right. The very first thing to move to a web application is the first step will be that you have to open a browser in your own system. Now, how to open a browser? To open a browser in your own system, you have to be very much careful regarding the version that you're using. So first of all, just go to the help or Google Chrome and verify the version that you're using. So I'm using the version 81 as of now. Whatever the version that you're using, download a driver for that version. How do we download a driver? So we just simply go here on Google, write download. Since we are using Chrome, I'll be writing Chrome driver. Since we are using Chrome, I'll be writing Chrome driver. I'll just move to the very first official website, which is called downloads. Now here you can see current releases. It simply says if you are using Chrome version 83, download this. If you are using Chrome version 81, download this. So whatever your Chrome version is, accordingly download a driver from here. So once you download it, extract it. So if you download it, it will be in the extracted format. And once you unextract it, there will be an exe file which is called Chrome driver, This exe file will be used in a project. How to use this in a project? How to use this? So I'm defining a variable. I'm saying driver equal to WebDriver dot Chrome. Since I want the Chrome stuff, I will be saying the executable path. So this executable path actually is the path where my Chrome driver is installed. So I go here, I'll go to the properties, I will simply copy the location where I have installed it. I'll simply paste it. Keep in mind, you have to make these slashes as double slashes whenever you're giving any path. Double slash. Now the name of the application, which is Chrome driver.exe, or you can simply write Chrome driver. That is also not a problem. So what exactly we have did till date? Okay, we have a question. Can't we use a WebDriver manager as we do in Java to avoid all these? WebDriver manager, I don't think so. That will be a type of a framework that we will be discussing later. As of now, I'm taking all these things from the very scratch Nair, so that everyone comes to the same page. And later in the classes, we will come to this. But how can we avoid all that stuff? Okay. But then not in this demo session. We can definitely use a WebDriver manager, but not in. I'll not showcase that in this demo session, I believe, because there are other students also who are new to this course. So for them, let's not make it complicated. Okay. Okay, Nair. Yeah. So what exactly we did till here now? We just simply imported the WebDriver stuff. We initialized a variable. We gave the executable path. This path is required to execute my exe application that I have just downloaded. And once you have downloaded it, you can simply type driver.get. Get is a function where you have to pass the URL where you want to visit. So suppose the URL that I want to visit is this one. I'll copy this, I'll paste it. So this is the URL I want to visit in the website. So let's try doing this as only. Let's try to execute it. So if I try run demo file 1, now what exactly it will do? You can see it opened me a Chrome browser and it visited the same URL. That is done automatically. That is why automation testing is done. Are you guys getting it? Now you can close it. In case if I want to maximize my window, I can do that also. I can simply type driver dot maximize window. The first step that it will be going to cover is it will be opening my browser. After opening my browser, it will maximize my window, and then it will hit the given URL. Then it will hit the given URL. So it maximized it, and now you can see it hit the given URL and it executed. Okay. So today we are only going to do till here. In the next session, we will be dealing with that completely by Selenium stuff. In case if you guys have any questions, then now you guys can ask me. The next session will be scheduled on, let me see the date. The next session will be done on 26th of April at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. in the morning specifically. So, Ibn, you're asking me, is there any other way to import WebDriver Selenium? I believe behalf of code only. I believe this is a basic way, but we can do this using multiple other ways also, but not now. I believe we can do even when we will be dealing with framework designing, we can do that also, but in the later part, right? So right now, as I already mentioned, this course will be starting from very scratch. So in case you guys have prior knowledge, have patience, because there are students who are new to this. They have to learn everything, so that is why I'm taking it from very scratch, so that everyone can be on the same page later in the class. Okay. So in case you guys have any questions till now, you guys can ask me, or we can have the next session on 26th of April, 10 a.m. in the morning sharp. Do you guys want to share me any feedbacks? If yes, it's good to have. Actually, I always ask for the feedbacks in case if you guys want me the way to teach differently or some any other feedback. Feedbacks are always welcome. So you guys can give me any feedback. May it be positive, negative, I don't care. It means I don't. I will be definitely appreciating that stuff, and I will be working on it so that I can make the class more interactive. So yeah, any feedbacks from all of you guys or any other questions you guys can ask me. So far, so good. Looking forward to working on a framework soon. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? So, in case we don't have any questions, just a second. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, guys. Then I think we are good to end the session. In case if you guys have any questions, you can ask me, or we will be meeting in the next session on 26th of April, 10 a.m. sharp. Okay. Will we get the video for this too? Yes, I believe we will be getting the video for this too as well. All these things are already recorded. Yeah. There after 2 days session, yeah, we will be having a 2 day session on every Saturday and Sunday. But for the demo session, we have on 26th April the second demo. After that, on every Saturday and Sunday, we will be having the sessions. Okay. Yeah. Any feedbacks from any one of you? Mm, okay. Okay, guys. Then can we do mobile automation as well? That is a different stuff, Urbans. That's a different course that we have to start, but we can do mobile automation for sure using Python. Okay, so thank you guys. You were lovely audience, trust me. So I'll be meeting you guys on 26th of April, Sunday, 10 a.m. sharp. Be there on time, I believe. So, okay, thank you guys. You guys can end the session as you know from your end. I'll be doing it from my end. Thank you. Goodbye. Take care. Stay safe. Stay home.